Hey, I'm Kenneth Wajda. I'm a professional photographer here in Colorado. Welcome to another one of my weekly photo talks about gear I really use. This is probably my favorite Polaroid camera. It's a Autofocus Land 660. You know why this is a great camera? Because you can find these at thrift stores for $15 like I have. And you can find the ones that aren't autofocus for $5 and probably even the autofocus ones. And the point is, they have a specialness that no other camera can do. So these are portraits. I've been making portraits. I always make portraits of my friends. These are portraits of people that are in my life. And there's a look to these photos. There's my father. There's my brother. These are photos that you don't have any other way of making, for me, to look like this. It's kind of like medium format cameras in a simple $15 box. Because for very little money, you get to make photos like this. And they don't look anything like digital. They don't look anything like anything else. And yeah, a pack of black and white film from Polaroid is $18.95. You only get 8 exposures. But so, don't shoot too many. If you just shoot one, I only shot one of each of these folks when I shot these. I never shoot more than one. And there's a little trick for these cameras. So when you buy the film, the battery is in the film. So you have to be careful to make sure that you don't let it go too long or else it won't work. I keep my film in the refrigerator like they recommend. Then when I take the film out and I put it in here, it spits out the first black dark slide, and now it's ready to shoot. And it's actually photographing with actual light bouncing off of this mirror that's in here and hitting the film that's facing up right here. And it's actually exposing with light this piece of film. It's a medium format photograph. And now all you need to do is make sure that you're in good enough light because it's got an f12 lens. They counted on the flash to be able to make it so that you could get a picture no matter what, or if you're outside. So make sure you're in good light with this. Don't shoot this in low light unless you want to have a flash photo. But there's also a trick. This is the shutter release that you use to advance and to shoot it, and it's motorized. But there's a little lever right behind it that you can use, and that will shoot it without the flash. So this is with the flash, and this is without the flash. And if you shoot it without the flash, it will shoot at a longer exposure. And if you're shooting outside, it won't turn the flash on. So I'm a big fan of shooting without the flash. None of these photos have flash in them. This one was even made at night at a street light. I was holding really, really still. I think there was like a lamp right next to our cars, and he stood so that the light would be right on his face. And it's amazing what you can get. But like I said, there's a look to the Polaroid that I feel is not anywhere close to any other camera that I use. Tri-X doesn't look like it. Ilford HP5 or FP4, none of them look like that. And these cameras aren't very expensive. I ended up buying a whole bunch of black and white film. It was at Best Buy and it was on clearance for like $11 or maybe $10.95, $11.95. And so I ran around to all the Best Buys in my area, and even in my travels, I was going across the country on a photo trip. And I stopped at Best Buys, and if they had 4 or 5 packs, I'd pick them up. And I'd save a few bucks that way. But the goal is, they make both color and black and white. I prefer the black and white. The black is almost like a chocolatey brown. It doesn't have a real black. I don't think my brother photographs very well in digital photography, but in this photo, I like it. And he has a look that I think really works for him. So consider if you're looking for something to shoot something different. In my old apartment, I used to have a clothesline going across my kitchen, and these were all hung up. It was a little gallery. And this camera allows you to make simple art very quickly. There's a great instant response to having a piece of film pop out, sticking it in your pocket, and waiting a little while later, taking a look. Hey, look, there's a picture. And if it's 8 shots for $19, I'm not the best with math, but if that's $2 a shot, a little bit more, okay, so shoot a few. How much do we pay for a coffee? Shoot a few, and you end up with photos like these that you can have. I love that photo of my father, and it wouldn't exist if it weren't for the Polaroid, because it's a completely different look and a feeling, and it was a big, Polaroid was a big love of Andy Warhol and a lot of those old photographers back in the 50s and 60s. You can do great things with it. You still have to watch the light, you still have to look for the light. He was in good light. Make sure you're in some light that looks like something. Don't just shoot in bad light, find the light. He was in good light, sitting on a bench in a little town near me. Find the light, make the picture. But these cameras are super cheap. The batteries are in the film, so you don't have to worry about buying batteries for them. And they're point and shoot, fun to go. If you find the one step, instead of the autofocus, it's got a little lever that lets you focus on close-up, and it basically pulls a little lens element in front of the lens and in front of the viewfinder. If you end up finding one with that little lever that allows you to do close-up photos, that'll let you get a little bit closer for portraits. I tend to shoot portraits, so I want to be able to get closer than, say, 8 feet away or 6 feet away. I want to get within 3 feet away. And I think that the ones with the little sliding lens element, it's like 6 feet to infinity or 3 to 6 feet. And I prefer shooting in close. That's what these are made with. So that Polaroid is a fun little, much more affordable than the SX70, the folding camera. And I've had some of those, and some of those can be a little problematic. The 600 of this means it's a 600 speed film. And you have to buy Polaroid 600 film for that. The SX70 is a 70 speed film, so it's not that good in anything but super bright light. I would well prefer this every time over the SX70, as much as I like the camera design of the SLR, the fact you're looking through the lens, that's all great. But this is the one I would say for $10 or $15, you can buy them all day long at yard sales and thrift stores and pick them up and have a ball. All right, that's today's photography talk. If you're enjoying these, hit the subscribe button. If you can support, hit the Patreon. Everything helps, especially nowadays. And I'll be back next week. We'll talk about another camera in my bag of tricks. As always, here's the good light.